So February has been all about the relationships, as Februaries are, and we've spoken about our relationship with clients. We've explored the impact of our personal partnerships, and now I want to shift focus to something that's a little bit more foundational for us, and that is the relationship with ourselves. Because before we are practitioners, before we are partners, before we are guides or teachers, we're nervous systems, we're bodies, we are histories, we're patterns. And if we do not have a grounded relationship with the self, we do not know who is going to be walking into session with our clients. And this isn't some wonderful theory that I'm popping out there for you. I've spoken openly about having been in a narcissistically abusive marriage. And for me, one of the most confusing aspects of that experience was that I had done a significant amount of inner work on myself. But before entering that relationship, I had addressed my codependence. I had cultivated a deep sense of self-awareness. I built resilience, compassion, and emotional maturity for myself. I was not actively seeking to fix anybody because I knew better, and nor was I consciously repeating any kind of old pattern. And yet, here I still found myself inside a dynamic that was deeply harmful for me. And this reality matters because practitioners sometimes assume that once they've done the work, they're immune to certain relational patterns. And that just simply is not true for us. Narcissistic abuse, this doesn't begin as overt, obvious abuse. Rather, it begins as confusion. It's subtle shifts in behavior. It's small inconsistencies. It's moments where something feels off, but not clearly enough to actually name it. There's a cycle to it. There's stretches of calm. You then get the irritation, the manipulation, then the escalation, and then there's some kind of a repair, and then it's calm again. And if you do not understand the abuse cycle like I didn't, your body will respond in very specific ways. During the calm portion, relief is going to feel like safety, connection feels like it's being restored, and you have dopamine and oxytocin settling the system for you. And the body begins to crave the return of that calm after the chaos, even when the mind knows something here isn't right. And what ultimately protected me was not my perfectionism. It was my relationship with myself, because even in the thick of it, I could sense misalignment. I would say, like, this is not okay. The way I'm being spoken to is not okay. The way I'm being treated is not okay. But I didn't have the full language for what exactly was happening. But I did have enough internal clarity to know something here was wrong. Something here was not okay. And that relationship with the self is what allows one to leave. It's what allows one to recover. And recently, while navigating this separation space that I'm in now, my nervous system shut down on me. It wasn't from anything dramatic. It wasn't anything catastrophic that had happened. It was a simple administrative task that pushed my system beyond its threshold. And when I attempted to move into just simple logical work, my brain was like, nope, sorry, I can't compute for you right now. And in another season, I would have pushed myself through. At this time, however, I recognized it for what it was. This is nervous system shutdown. This is survival responses. This isn't me being lazy or incompetent, because I could actually name what was going on. I could respond to it. So I rested. I stepped away, gave my body what it needed. And that is what relationship with the self looks like in practice. Not, like I say, theory, not identity, not performance, but attunement to real time, what's happening for you in real time. And as practitioners, this level of awareness, this is not optional for us. If we do not understand our own nervous systems, our own triggers, our own shutdown patterns, we are going to risk bringing dysregulation into the room with our clients without knowing what it is that we're doing. And if we can't identify when we're operating from survival or exhaustion or unprocessed pain, we are not fully present with our clients. We are simply just reacting while believing that we're guiding, we're performing. So relationship with the self must extend past the mental layer. It's got to include the physical body, what's happening somatically, your energetic layer where depletion or activation is going to be present for you. Of course, the mental layer, what narratives are running, the emotional layer, what is being felt but not expressed. And of course, you have the intuitive and the authentic layers. What feels true beneath the fear, beneath the experience that you're currently having. And when these layers are in relationship with one another, we have coherence. And good old coherence, that is what allows us to practice safely. My routines right now are very intentional. I wake up consistently. I begin my day consistently. I maintain my accountability structures. I reduce my decision fatigue as much as I can. And not because I'm lacking discipline, but because nervous system stability supports clarity. And right now, nervous system stability is what I need for myself to ensure I can keep showing up to do the work that I do safely. Because when we cultivate a steady relationship with ourselves, we can respond rather than just simply override us. We can rest when needed. We can adjust when overwhelmed. We recognize misalignment before it becomes complete collapse. And without that relationship, we're going to push. We're going to ignore the signals. And eventually the body is going to force us to stop and be like, sorry, you need to shut down now. So if this month is all about relationships, this is the most important one for us. Before our clients, before our partners, before our communities, who are you in relationship with yourself? Do you know your thresholds, your shutdown cues, your triggers, your restoration practices? Because if you do not know those things, you cannot ethically hold space for others. And self-awareness is not self-absorption, it's responsibility. Over the years, I have developed a very structured way of working with the different aspects of myself. And the practices that I use personally actually form the foundation for a course that I've put together for practitioners who want to cultivate this deep level of awareness in a way that's grounded and systematic, not as, cultivating a new identity for you, but as a form of integration for the self. Because spiritual practice does not replace nervous system literacy. Compassion does not replace your boundaries, and discipline does not replace self-knowledge. That relationship with the self, that is the foundation of every other relationship that we hold for ourselves. Everything is built upon that relationship. And if that foundation is shaky, you're going to have some problems. If it's steady, however, even in seasons of strain, you're going to remain intact. And that right there is the work. That is the very responsibility. And this is where ethical practice begins for us as practitioners.